Hi everyone, my name is Helen Driver and I'm here today to talk to you about this sentence and its parts. Oh, we all know this. Every sentence begins with a capital letter. And every sentence ends with a period, question mark, or exclamation point. Here's when it gets tricky though. Every sentence also has a subject and a predicate. Easier said than done, correct? The subject. The subject is the part of the sentence that names the person or thing the sentence speaks about. It tells who or what is performing the action or who or what is being discussed in the sentence. Now let me show you what happens when the subject is missing. Is running quickly. Obviously this needs a subject. Who's running quickly? Mandy, the boy, the monkey is running quickly. You need to have something that tells who is performing this action. Are changing colors. Obviously, this also needs a subject. The leaves are changing colors. All sentences also need a predicate, which you probably well know. The predicate tells what the subject does, did, or will do, or what or how the subject is, was, or will be. This is missing the predicate. The manic monkey with brown fur. What about the manic monkey with brown fur? The orange and purple haze in the sky. It's not saying anything about this particular subject. Conjunctions. Now this is where sentences can get fairly complicated, so make sure you listen to this. There are coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions do just what they're called. They coordinate between sentences or phrases. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Also known as the fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Think of the semicolon as a coordinating conjunction too, if you want. A semicolon works like and a comma. It can be used to connect two complete sentences together. The subordinating conjunctions are just what they're called. They subordinate one part of the sentence to another. And here are some common ones. Because, unless, before, until, if, so that, when, after, whenever, as, where, and although. Often you've probably heard in your past that you should not start sentences with because. That isn't necessarily true. You can start sentences with because, but you have to have another sentence following it because when you use this word, it is making what follows subordinate to the independent clause. Because I get up early. See how that's not a complete sentence? The because is making it incomplete. I get up early is a complete sentence. Because I get up early is making it subordinate to something else. Because I get up early, I am able to get ready for the day quickly. There are different types of sentences. One is a simple sentence. It only has one independent clause. Doesn't necessarily mean it's short though. Birds sing. That's a simple sentence. Birds is the subject, sings is the predicate. The bird began to warble a sustained and beautiful song after a long silence. That is also a simple sentence, but it is quite complicated. The bird is the subject and began begins the predicate. Now, a compound sentence is two complete independent clauses connected with a coordinating conjunction. Birds sing, comma, and donkeys bray. You have two independent clauses connected with a comma. A complex sentence has both a subordinating clause and an independent clause. Now, this is the subordinating conjunctions again. After my son goes to school. That's a subordinating clause, and it has a subordinating conjunction, which is after. He likes to have a snack. That's an independent clause. There is no subordinating conjunction in that particular sentence. After my son goes to school cannot stand alone. It has to be connected with an independent clause. A compound complex sentence has at least two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. When the weather gets cold, that's a dependent clause. When is the subordinate conjunction and is making that particular sentence dependent to the two independent clauses that follow. The leaves fall, comma, and the birds fly south. The leaves fall is one independent clause. The birds fly south is another independent clause, and they're being connected together with the coordinating conjunction and. Now, here are where sentence problems can occur. Fragments take the form of a dependent clause, one of those with a subordinating conjunction, phrases, as in a descriptor, only a subject, or only a predicate, or other words groups without independent meaning and structure. Now here's some examples. The new educational standards requiring a higher grade point average. See how that's just a subject? It does not have an independent meaning. Now how would you fix that? Well, one of the things you could do is change requiring to require and then make that into a verb. The new educational standards require a higher grade point average. Now look at the next one. The first part is an independent clause. Medieval alchemists searched for the elixir of life. That's an independent clause. But what follows is not, which was supposed to prolong life indefinitely. That is not an independent clause. That is a fragment. It does not have independent meaning and structure. Now look at this next one. It's a really long sentence, but it is not a complete sentence. Meadows of deep green grass, hills with trees soaring almost into the white clouds, one superhighway and a small dirt road, a landscape of contradictions. It's a great descriptive discussion, but it is not a complete sentence. Now, a lot of you may have issues with comma splices. And what are comma splices? A comma splice occurs when a comma is used between two independent clauses without a coordinating conjunction. One of those fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. A fused sentence or run-on sentence occurs when the independent clauses have neither punctuation nor coordinating conjunctions between them. Now we're going to get into some examples in a moment. Let's look at this. Here is a sample comma splice. It looks like a great sentence though, doesn't it? A run-on sentence has at least two parts. Each can stand alone. Unfortunately, the two parts have been squished together instead of being properly connected. Not only is it a comma splice, you can see the comma between alone and unfortunately, it is also a fused sentence. A run-on sentence has at least two parts. Each can stand alone. One sentence is, a run-on sentence has at least two parts. Another sentence is, each can stand alone. You have just squished those two sentences together without any sort of punctuation. Now how do we fix that? Look at this sentence. A run-on sentence has at least two parts, period. Each can stand alone, period. Remember, that was where the comma was before. You cannot connect two sentences together with just a comma. Unfortunately, the two parts have been squished together instead of being properly connected. Now, one way you can fix these sorts of issues is to read the sentence out loud to yourself. Sometimes it's hard just to see it. You have to read it out loud to be able to hear the connection, hear the independent clauses. It really helps to read your work aloud. The length of a sentence really has nothing to do with whether a sentence is a run-on. It is a flaw that can plague even short sentences. Here's an example. I was confused. I didn't know what to do. That's a comma splice. You have two complete sentences. I was confused. One complete sentence. I didn't know what to do. Another complete sentence. You could connect it with and. I was confused and I didn't know what to do. Or you can use a subordinating conjunction. Because I was confused, I didn't know what to do. An extremely long sentence, on the other hand, might be wordy, but it can be otherwise sound structurally. Look at this one. It's a crazy long sentence, but it's complete. There's only one subject, Carl Lewis, and one predicate, made. That's it. It's a complete sentence, but I would advise you to edit this one down. And here's where I got it from. Fused sentences. A fused sentence occurs when there is no punctuation between independent clauses. I go to school early on Tuesdays. I have biology lab in the morning. Do you hear the two complete sentences? I, subject, go to school early on Tuesdays. That's the predicate. I, subject, have biology lab in the morning. That's the predicate. What could you do? Well, you could use and. I go to school early on Tuesdays, comma, and I have biology lab in the morning. Or you could use a subordinate conjunction. Because I go to because I have biology lab in the morning, comma, I go to school early on Tuesdays. Or you could use a semicolon. I go to school early on Tuesdays, semicolon, I have biology lab in the morning. Comma splice. Just to review this again, it's two independent clauses joined with a comma. And here's another example. Melissa thinks math is easy, comma, she helps me with my homework all the time. You need to use either a semicolon, a coordinating conjunction, or a subordinating conjunction to fix this sentence. Because Melissa thinks math is easy, comma, she helps me with my homework all the time. Melissa thinks math is easy, semicolon, she helps me with my homework all the time. Or a coordinating conjunction. Melissa thinks math is easy and, comma, she helps me with my homework, comma, and she helps me with my homework all the time. Here's another one. Julie stayed up all late working on a paper, semicolon, not comma. However, she still had to write the conclusion in the morning. See that fix? You could also use a period between paper and however as well. Well, I hope this helped you a little bit. Remember, if you have any questions, please send me a message or post to the open forum. Now that you have viewed this presentation, here's what I want you to do for extra credit. It's really easy. All you have to do is send me a message stating your name and that you have witnessed this or that you have viewed this presentation. So let's say your name is John. I, John, have viewed the grammar presentation. That's all you need to do. Just send me an email and I'll give you 5 extra credit points. Okay? This might help you with your midterm, so send me that message. Bye!